Okay, so want to talk about something very specific here while I just drive some of these back roads. I'm not even entirely sure where I am. GPS says I'm leaving some place called my god. Well, almost hit a chicken, I think. That's a first. So hurricanes. I only have one experience with a hurricane thus far. It was the first year I was here. It's Hurricane Lee, the big boy, 2023. It was kind of a, I remember it was a side swipe up the Fundy coast of a hurricane. My first hurricane, never been in a hurricane before, ever. Don't get many hurricanes coming through Toronto other than, what was the legendary one? Hurricane Hazel. Back in, I was long unborn. I can't remember the specific year. But so I went from, never experiencing a hurricane to experiencing one in my first year moving out east. Again, no direct impact. This was a side swipe, but the big thing to know in this case, again, only speaking from the perspective of that wasn't a direct hit. I've yet to experience that. I do live pretty close to the coast on the Bay of Fundy. But, of course, it's a lot of rain. A lot of very, very heavy rain. And it was a lot of wind. More wind than I'm ever used to. Definitely 100 plus kilometer per hour gusts and stuff. But just as for St. John, nothing really stopped. In fact, when it was all that rain, it was raining sideways, and it was raining in like very concentrated bands, and the wind was blowing and gusting. We did have a couple friends that ended up coming over on the day it happened, and we went to the Moosehead Brewery that was still open. Like nothing was really changed, nothing was really impacted. Stuff was impacted. I lost some shingles on my roof, but it's one of those, you live on the East Coast, you're bound to deal with hurricanes at some point. It's just kind of the way it is. There's nothing to really do about it. But just like for what it was for my first hurricane, it was kind of just a good introductory into it. I was very adamant and very consistently tracking hurricanes my first year here because it was kind of a concern. After going through that, I kind of stopped looking at it as much as I was. That's because really, other than an evacuation order, there's really not much you can do. But all things considered, it was just a large amount of rain. The only other thing I noticed that I thought was neat is you could definitely see the clouds spiraling towards the eye of the storm from where I was, and it was very, very neat to look at when I was outside when I probably shouldn't be. Again, all there is you can do is kind of prepare. All I did was anything that wasn't particularly nailed down, I put in the garage. So just in case, obviously there's other areas that are always going to be more impacted, especially if you take a hurricane head on. You have things like, if memory serves, it'd be like Hurricane Fiona that hit Nova Scotia. It's rough, very rough from what I remember. The news cycle about it, what it was, and a lot of time to recover. I'm not very succinct in this one, but it is what it is. All you can do is just look into it and prepare as much as you can. If you need to batten down the hatches, if it's just like me and you take anything kind of remotely loose inside, or if they say it's going to be a particularly bad one, what would you do at the most? You board up your windows just in case. Again, this is I live in St. John on the Fundy coast, so things to pay attention to. But we got through it, and hopefully I get through the next one. If anyone has any specific questions or insights, let me know of how you've ever been impacted by hurricanes wherever you're from. I'm always interested in everyone else's stories. Anyway, talk to you later.